Hello, hello. Do what? Okay, I want to make sure. I don't know if anyone's in here, but um, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear both of us this time. Because last time it was a little crazy. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? I can hear you. All right, perfect. Can everyone else hear us? Both of us at the same level? Well, let me check on my phone. Yeah, they can't hear you. Yeah. My mom's. Nothing. Oh, yep. I heard the hello the first time. Yep. Okay. I heard the hello. Yeah. Wait, let me make sure I can hear you though. Okay. Wait. I don't know, you're kind of quiet. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Yeah. Hello, hello. That didn't come through on the stream. Oh, yeah, it did.
We both?
No, just me.
Okay, what about now? Hello?
Yes, yes. Now,
Really?
perfect. Yes.
Well, this is awkward.
You know what? We figured it out in 8 minutes this time instead of 30. That's all that
Oh,
matters.
yeah. Well, the only problem is I can hear myself. And I don't like that.
Huh. Well, I don't know. You're crystal clear on the stream, though.
Alright. Well, it is what it is. I can hear myself, though.
You know what?
And
You're
I
just
don't
gonna have
like it.
to. You're just gonna have to pretend that you like it
Alright.
for the sake of. We don't have time for that.
Alright. Alright. So
So,
now.
anyways, I don't know who's all in
Hello.
here. Um,
Welcome.
I see my mom is in here. Hi, mom.
It's the Paranormal Pod.
Welcome to the Paranormal Pod, our second show ever.
Woo!
Yay! Can I get a hell yeah in the chat?
Hell yeah!
So, what did you want to talk about today? Did you want to go over like the most current events in the paranormal
Yeah.
world? Okay,
Because I
if you
think
have
they're
them.
all bullshit.
Okay, I can see your screen. Is that what you meant to be streaming?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure before you
You see
open a
all my
weird web
tabs up
page.
there? I was looking at this. I
Yes.
found this. It's a paranormal news website.
Nice.
That should
Okay.
be us.
Well,
Anyway. They have some major stories. I guess there was like this thing. which I think is silly. Bigfoot footage.
Bigfoot, let's watch it.
View this. All right,
I
let's
want
watch
to see it.
Let me see if I can click on it. All right.
It's Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. During our recent Bigfoot expedition to Sasquatch sighting locations in northwest Montana, we reached out to a local researcher named Duke from World Bigfoot TV. He kindly took us into an active spot in the Garnet Mountains, northeast of Missoula. We immediately began to identify Bigfoot trackways and documented dozens of Sasquatch tracks in 2 trackways going up and down the mountain to and from water source, a creek. The largest tracks we documented were around 19 inches in length and around 8 inches wide at the toes. Those were the 2 main trackways, 19-inch tracks, showing that an individual was going to the top of the mountain and down into the nearest creek. We heard Bigfoot-style vocalization several times during our investigation hike, and sometimes they would go back and forth from 2 different directions, indicating whatever it was, there was more than one, and they were communicating to each other. During one vocalization event, Jenny and Kelly directed a camera in the direction of some pretty close whoops and screams. During editing, we saw briefly what looked like a dark humanoid figure lean out from behind a tree, exposing itself for a second or two as it was checking us out after vocalizing. It appeared to be the left side of the creature from its dome head, including its torso and left leg. Because it was at a distance and so brief, we did not make a big deal out of it. After several viewers contacted us about the event that watched our investigation video, we decided to take a closer look. We then noticed a second one behind a log leaning against a host tree. It appears to take a look at us also after the vocalization, then hides behind the host tree. Not saying these are Bigfoot tree peeking at us and vocalizing. However, we would like to show what we and other viewers have identified in the video. I would also like to zoom in and slow the footage down so everyone can take a better look. If it wasn't for the amazing Bigfoot trackways we found that day, and then the vocalizations, it prompted us to point the camera in the direction. We would have just shrugged off this 220 frame section that lasted under 4 seconds. But because of everything found and heard at that point in time, here it is. After we play this footage, we will show off some of the better 19-inch tracks we found in 2 separate trackways. One trackway went down the mountain toward the creek, the other went up toward the mountain peak. Just got vocalizations off that way. There goes again. A bunch of hooping.
I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything?
I can't hear anything.
Well, this might have been a big waste of time.
Yeah.
Whole track until they can see.
Look, something went up the hillside right here. Jenny found these tracks about 8.5 inches wide
there.
I don't think it used the
how
entire.
loose that soil looks. Couldn't just like a big animal create that footstep if everything just like caved in around its foot?
And why? I can't hear anything on there. There's nothing.
I don't know. It looks like they're just measuring random holes in the ground.
Yeah.
And hoping that it's Okay, well.
Let me hear it.
So what are your thoughts on Bigfoot?
That would be 7.
I know it's kind of controversial. There's a lot of people that believe in it and a lot of people that don't. I personally don't believe in it.
You don't believe in Bigfoot at all?
I think that... I don't believe this.
This weirdo, measuring holes in the ground.
I don't believe this.
Okay.
But what? I just don't understand the fascination with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
This big, like monkey-like looking creature walking around the woods.
You want to go down that way?
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that there's probably people that live deep in the woods that don't
Go down that way.
come out often, but I don't know if they necessarily
It's
are
Rocky
7
Mountain
feet tall.
and then the vocalization.
Or we can go this way, which is.
I mean,
But that video, I mean, maybe for me, I don't know, but it was just very grainy.
yeah.
You know,
They
you
always
can't.
are.
It just kind of looks
we
like
have
a.
evidence of this. It's always recorded on a potato.
Yeah, why is that? Why is every video evidence of anything? Maybe it's just easier to fake, but
Probably.
I don't know. Who knows? For all we know, he could be real, and he's outside right now waiting to beat us up when we leave.
I like the idea of Bigfoot being like this big, like intergalactic creature. That
Yes,
can, like,
I like
travel
that
through
theory too.
portals.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
That one is fun, and that they're just like super intelligent and like bury their dead, and that's why we never find skeletons. And but you would think that we would see them in cases of like
Like, what the hell is
mudslides
this?
or
Come on.
wildfires.
What the hell is this?
Hey, it's on the website that you found, all right?
All right, but I'm just saying, look at that. What is it?
I don't get how to them that's supposed to be a footprint.
I don't either.
I mean, I guess I could see. I mean, it looks old, but it could have been a bear. You know, when it was raining.
Yeah.
Now that guy just looks like a fucking Bigfoot, whatever.
Bigfoot hunter.
Bigfoot lover. He likes big old feet. Well, is there anything on there that recently happened with like spirits or ghosts or anything? I'd be curious to see that.
This right here. Which I already viewed this. And I also think it's bullshit.
Notorious Tunnel.
It is.
So you watched it and you think it's fake?
I watched it a little bit.
Okay. Well, let's watch it then.
Look at this badass intro. You have to really turn your volume up for this one.
The ghost guy.
Good evening and welcome to Cape Tunnel in Doncaster. It's not the first time I've been here. I'm not overly keen on being here on my own, so I'm going to keep it quite brief. I've had bits in the past, so I'm going to set up quickly, and if I get anything, I'll let you know. Right, if you're here, could you stand in front of me? Could you touch the green light in the archway? I've been here before and I've heard you. I think I've even seen you. Could you come forward? Touch the green light. Am I okay to be here? Right, I'm just going to give you a quick guided tour. I've been here before, like I say. Really don't like being here completely on my own. If anybody is here, you're quite welcome to come forward. Make yourself known. It's a famous story of the Mexbaraga. I'm sure you've all heard it. A young girl used to sell rags in the local area, and when she used to be, wait a minute, it's like dripping sounds, but it's obviously just water. Yeah, when it used to be a railway, she was in the tunnel, and she heard the train, but wasn't quick enough to get to one of these.
How far into this did you watch? Like, there's anything crazy happen?
And sometimes there's little trinkets and little dolls and things
No.
left for her.
Oh.
Well, here, could you talk to me, please, for a little box? Touch the green light, move towards it.
So it looks like he has like an EMF detector and possibly a spirit box. For those of you who are not
Yes.
familiar with ghost hunting equipment.
It's also reading the temperature.
There's an extra red in here. You see the green light on the floor? If you touch it, move towards it. You might change it to red. Could you do that? Come forward.
I didn't even hear that.
No. Me either.
This guy's kind of cringe. Okay, well,
That was supposedly what he caught.
okay, well,
Let's do that again. We'll play it back.
I will play back.
Right, so it's the K2. The audio.
I mean,
I didn't hear shit. I just hear rocks chomping around.
yeah.
Stomped around.
And there's that freaking, is that the Panasonic voice recorder thing?
No, it's a different one.
Oh, okay.
It's like a $30 Amazon one.
Okay, well, that's the same little detector I have. EMF detector. Which that thing, I noticed is like super sensitive. Okay.
Let me see if I can change the quality. What about that one? Give me that good quality. What about the best quality? Bleh. What do you think about that?
It's so distorted sounding that it's really hard to, you know, make out, and it almost sounds like they are forcing those specific words out of those sounds.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. They were like,
Which,
they're reaching.
yeah, which I feel like a lot of EVPs that a lot of these groups capture are kind of just like random sounds that their brain morphs into, something. But, and then there's others that are just insanely clear and very disturbing because, you're like, what is that? Where did that sound come from? So it's strange. I wish I knew the I don't know, the science. Is there science behind it? Probably not.
The science behind the EVPs?
Yes.
Let's look it up.
Because, I mean, I guess just from the information I've gathered in my life of being obsessed with the paranormal is that it's, I guess, not really in another dimension, but another wavelength. or possibly coming from another dimension. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's what this is going to say. Read it to us, because I'm incompetent.
But I don't know how to say this person's name.
Well, call them something else.
All right. Within ghost hunting and parapsychology, electronic voice phenomena are sounds found on electronic recordings that are interpreted as spirit voices. Parapsychologist Kasana Saravadeva, who popularized the idea in the 1970s, described EVP as typically brief, usually the length of a word or short phrase. Enthusiasts consider EVP to be a form of paranormal phenomenon often found in recordings with static or other background noise. Scientists regard EVP as a form of auditory. What the hell is that word?
I can't even see it because I'm watching on my phone.
Oh.
So the screen is really tiny, so spell it out.
Pareidolia. What is it, Trina?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia? Pareidolia?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Interpreting random sounds as voices in one's own language.
Pareidolia.
Oh,
Not even
and a
my mom knew.
pseudoscience.
Ah, pseudo. There's that word again.
Yeah. Is it how did I say it right?
I have no idea.
Pseudoscience.
I'm pretty sure it's pseudo, not pseudo.
Yeah, pseudo,
like you had
not
said that
pseudo.
was pseudo.
Leave me alone.
I just want to tell a funny story about the word pseudo.
Okay.
I sent
Pseudo.
Leah, I sent Leona, sorry,
Pseudo.
a link to a pseudo documentary.
Pseudo.
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 I know.
Damn it.
But okay, so it was a pseudo documentary, but it was supposed to be like a horror documentary or something scary. And I knew it was fake, but I guess she didn't see that it said that it wasn't, or that it was, or she didn't know what that word meant. So she watched this documentary fully believing that it was real, and it was about some guy trying to find a cave that he went to at one point that was like putting off crazy vibrations, which is actually a true story. It's based off a real thing. Like there was some crazy guy that found a
but
cave
he just
and
went missing.
yeah, but that guy just went missing. Like it wasn't anything like this creepy or whatever this documentary was trying to portray about his story. I don't really remember why the weird Hills Have Eyes character was included in that documentary. Did they
Yeah.
did they happen to mention
I knew
anything?
it was weird. I knew something was off, but I didn't know until the guy showed up. I went through the whole thing like, this is so super real. Like, oh my god, this is so fucking
She was
crazy.
scared.
I was so scared.
On edge.
And then this happened.
So it gets to the end of this documentary. It shows this weird, deformed, like Hills Have Eyes guy in the forest. And he like chases after the camera guy or whatever, but it's like the way that he runs towards the camera, or just how he looks, that you can just tell when you see that it's fake. It wasn't until that moment that she was like, wait a minute. Something's wrong with this. It was the funniest thing ever because I was like, it was fake. I wanna see him running towards the camera because it's so funny.
This was the moment that I knew I fucked up. Do you see this right now? Oh my god, Trina's gone.
Sorry. I had myself on mute. But it's so funny because she didn't know it was fake, so then she messaged me and she was like, "Did you watch that documentary?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And and you were like, "It's fake." And I was like, "I know. Well, was it stupid?" And you were like, "Yeah, it's fake." I was like, "I know it was fake." And then she was like, "I didn't know it was fake. I thought it was real." And then she told me it wasn't until the end when she saw the weird guy running towards her that
I have
she
it
knew it was
paused right
fake.
now on the stream.
It is so funny. Oh my god. Every time I think about that, I literally
You
laugh.
know, when they said that they found his hand still attached to his camera in a backpack at a random campsite, I started to kind of realize.
Because okay, if
But then
there
they
was a
showed it,
story that crazy,
and then
don't you think that would have made like national headlines maybe?
Yeah, true. But there's a lot of things that never get reported.
True. I mean, it might be if it
know.
was real, it would be so disturbing that like the public can't handle this.
Yeah. Or this guy right here is working for the government.
Yeah. But I forget what the real guy's name is. It is a really interesting story, and there is an actual. He has like an episode on I don't know, it's some cold cases thing, but if you look up his name, you could find it. I forget what his name is though. Do you remember?
Kenny Reach.
Kenny something? If anyone's interested, it is really interesting. I mean, this guy was like convinced he found a cave, the M cave, yeah, that put
Here he
off
is.
crazy vibrations when he went up to it. And then a lot of people, their theory is that he found like a military cave or something, and they have some sort of technology in there that's super advanced and is supposed to use that vibration or whatever sound he heard to ward off like animals and people and stuff. So, what? Who is that?
Athena was banned from Roblox.
Oh no!
For using bad
Why?
words.
Oh well, it's her Club Penguin. You gotta learn, you know. Is that the guy?
Yeah.
What's his name? Kenny? Kenny what?
Beach.
Kenny Beach.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has a girlfriend or something that talks a lot about him. Who knows?
Here's the video.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. Kind of like a big canyon. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down. I'll show you that. And then the last time I came up here, I hiked up to the top of what they call Gas Peak, and I spent the night. It was a 2-day hike, and then I hiked all the way down to another valley over here and went past this mountain range you see on my right, all the way back out to the flat desert. Now, the camera doesn't pick this up very well, but it's a long way. And I just romp around out here, do some solo hikes, and have some fun. My mission today is to just do a 1-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice. It's real narrow and gets kind of scary. I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it. So I don't know if there's going to be anything to it, but it might be interesting. If I can find it, I got to relocate it. And this is a big mountain range I'm in. And I'm on foot, you know, my truck's way out there. There's no roads, there's no trails. It's a pretty rough terrain. So hopefully I'll find it. It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M. And it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow. And it's stuck on the side of a mountain. So I hope I can find it again. And if I do, I'm going in there. I'm going to put on my light and take my gun out and walk in there, see if I find anything. We'll see. I'm going to take the camera and show you how deep this hole is and kind of show you around real quick. So here we go.
I think this is the last video. Or one of the last videos. I don't know.
Because didn't he attempt to find it multiple times?
Yeah.
He seems like a very interesting man.
Yeah, I think he seems fine. A lot of people said that he came out here again not to find the M cave, but to kill himself.
He probably fell in one of those old mine shafts, honestly.
That's what the authorities think.
Yeah,
That's why they
because
can't
there's
find
probably tons of them, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch where he
Someone will find it one day, you know,
Yeah, they'll find it bones.
400 years in the future.
Or he found the M cave and it's a government research facility and they shot him on sight.
That very well could
This
be, honestly.
area is
Or
that
he
I'm
went
in.
into it and
kind
then
of a
he
weird-
got teleported into where Bigfoot lives.
Right, into another dimension.
Just a dimension
And
full of
then
Bigfoot.
tore him to shreds. And now he's dead.
Absolutely. Just ripped him in half and said,
Yeah.
get out.
Supposedly, his girlfriend, which nobody knew about, commented on some video about him and was like, he definitely went and killed himself. You guys didn't know him like I did. But nobody, knew her.
Yeah, I remember the
thing that's been out here
episode
forever.
I watched on him. She was just very strange. But he was
I don't
in, I think,
believe
a
it.
lot of debt and sold a bunch of stuff, was selling stuff in his house. He was an avid collector of art pieces or stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, he had a really interesting house. Full of things. He had a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, no, it was something really weird. He wanted to sell his house to somebody that was willing to keep everything he had inside the house, where it was and how it is.
What the heck?
But yeah, but they own the house. But they have to leave everything inside because he was so obsessed with all of the things he had collected. I don't know. I just remember that story really just kind of blowing my mind in a way. Because I was like, what a fascinating life.
Yeah, this is the second time he goes out. Armed with his 9mm handgun and a video camera.
I thought that was funny.
He posted
what if you run into a bear? What you can do with a gun?
True.
Do bears live in the desert? Is that a thing? Is there desert bears?
I'm sure.
You're just now getting to the Underdark, yeah.
Or maybe he got bit by a snake,
Snake bite McGee.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. But
That's what they say. Listen to this. Even with his impressive track record, Kenny was at a disadvantage to the elements. He was drunk with internet courage, searching for an elusive cave in the Mojave Desert, one of the hottest and driest regions on the planet. Breakthrough and breakdown. See, this is like it says, it has a girlfriend right there.
yeah.
In the beginning of the M Cave hike video Kenny posted before his disappearance, he is standing by an abandoned mine shaft, narrating some information about the cave he's seeking out. It was there that on November 22nd, 2014, search and rescue volunteers found Kenny's cell phone, indicating that he had in fact gone out searching for the cave again. An article at News 3 Las Vegas details, we found his cell phone close to a very vertical old mine shaft, and we can't find another trail. Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander Dave Cummings told News 3. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We're having our other crews come in from the search areas. After his cell phone was found, the trail would unfortunately go cold. Kenny was never found, leading to much speculation on how he died. The mysterious circumstances of his death fueled the internet with conspiracy theories of every shape and color. Had Kenny fallen down a mine shaft? Had he discovered a hidden entrance to Area 51? Had he stumbled upon some great military secret? Was the cave connected to aliens? Or had he simply succumbed to the elements? The trail ran cold for some time until a woman claiming to be Kenny's girlfriend posted the following comment on his M Cave hike video. I am the girlfriend that Kenny spoke of in the video. He spoke of her. There are so many posts. I had no idea until a friend let me know. So many people are wondering what happened and guessing different things. You are heartfelt about the sadness around what has happened with Kenny. He has not been found, and I feel that he probably will not be found for many, many months, if ever. I want to share what I know and feel about what happened, so that you might bring some closure and understanding in your own lives. Kenny absolutely loved hiking in the desert. It was his very, very favorite thing to do. We hiked and camped together all over the Nevada desert, sometimes 9 hours in a day. We found many abandoned mining towns, usually referred to as ghost towns by Nevada hikers. We explored many caves and mine shafts. We were always careful how we explored them, but Kenny was a bit more daring than I was. We wore snake guards, sun-protected clothing, used walking sticks, brought enough water and food for the hiking hours, and had extra water and food in the car. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he committed suicide. He battled depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared. The search for him was started within a couple days of my call. Over 30 search and rescue team members searched 3 different times on foot. 1 helicopter flyover was done, and there was no trace of Kenny or any of his camping things. They found his car in the area I told them it would be. They did find his cell phone by the mine shaft in the video. The mine shaft was only about a 4-hour hike from his car. It is my feeling he left it behind so that he could not be tracked from the GPS in it. He also did not take his video camera with him on his solo hike. It was left in his home. So he had no intention of filming anything. Interesting.
That is very interesting.
I share this with you for 2 reasons. First, that you have more of an understanding who Kenny was and to bring some peace or understanding to the situation. Secondly, if any of you decide to go out into our desert to look for him or the M Cave, be careful and bring enough water and food. Walking sticks are a good idea, and not doing a solo hike. Bring a GPS and make sure that you have let your family and friends know that you are heading out for the hike and where and when you will be returning. A search really can't be on a one-day hike. You would be repeating much of the same hike, just getting up the mountain and then be left with not many hours in the day to do the search. You would need 2 or 3 days at a time in the summer or even late spring. This cannot be done because of the heat of our desert. You would not be able to carry enough water, so please be careful. I had many wonderful experiences with Kenny and will always remember them and have a place of love in my heart for him and the wonderful things we did together. I am healing from my loss and look forward to new experiences with desert hiking, camping, and taking beautiful pictures of our desert. Enjoy your adventures of life, and thank you for the kind, loving comments sent my way.
It's interesting that they found his cell phone, like where he filmed that video, though.
Right.
So I wonder, did he plan to commit suicide?
I don't believe it. Let's watch him.
I mean, there's no roads.
He just seems
there's no trails.
Happy and energetic.
This thing, who knows how long it's been out here, and I have no idea what they were digging up, but it looks like some of the rocks are kind of rusty, so it might have been some kind of ore. This is kind of iffy. I'm going to step on this thing. It's very old, but I'll just show you. down inside that hole. It goes way, way, way down in there. Let me see if I can. That's pretty far. That goes way down in there. If you fell, that'd be it. You'd be a goner. It's a long way. So anyway, on the other side of those mountains, they're not that far away, but they're pretty good distance out there. On the other side of those.
Notice how he was like very careful about that. I just want to point that
About what?
Like how he was careful about stepping on that wood. How he's like, oh, this is a little iffy. It's very old.
Oh, yeah. True. I mean, are you insinuating that he wouldn't just jump down there to kill himself? Or...
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Or he wouldn't have accidentally fallen at least.
Well, he did say he brought a pistol, you know.
Huh?
Not to be... He brought a pistol. I mean, he could have done it that way.
True. And they never found it, so it's with his body.
Or he fell in a hole, had his pistol, and just was like, well...
And then put myself out of my misery.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I broke my leg.
Yeah.
Or something.
I don't know, that's very dark.
Is where I'm going to be popping out after I go over this. See, there's this little canyon I got to go down. I got to go over this mountain, and then I drop way down this mountain into a canyon.
I can imagine if he fell down one of these mine shafts and he was there for like days and days. Broke his leg. You know, just dies.
Yeah.
From shock or something.
Yeah.
Where he just kills himself because he's like, well, this is it. Nobody's going to find me.
Yeah, exactly. We just solved it. Cold case done.
Period.
Canyon, and I head off in that direction. I just go that direction, and that's west, heading towards. That's Mount Charleston, that big mountain out there. That's the Mount Charleston range, and then excuse me, I got flies all over the place. And then so I'll be heading down behind this mountain over here in a little canyon that gets kind of scary because there's all kinds of cliffs and stuff. And then hopefully I'll find that cave. It's like back over there somewhere, but down on the other side of that mountain. And then I got to walk all the way along this whole gigantic...
Okay, so he might have fell off a cliff. But...
Yeah.
If they're here, and they know if his cell phone was literally found here...
Right.
And so they had to have been here. And they had to have seen this video and searched those areas. They didn't find anything. And he said that he was going to head that way.
Well, it really depends if they actually really did or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure people go missing in the desert all the time, and it's such a horrible terrain that people, you can't really casually walk through. Yeah, they're like, oh, we'll send like a guy in a helicopter.
Yeah. I don't believe them.
Gigantic range on the outside
of
that mountain.
Kenny, whatever.
Because I came down.
Little sidetrack story there.
I don't believe it. I bet he's still alive out there.
He probably is. He probably is still alive and in a cave. He was living in the M cave, and he's just living his best life.
Yeah.
Has a new alien girlfriend. She's really cool.
Mm-hmm. He's like caveman. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway. That's a cool story, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting, because it's, it's real. That really happened.
I think
now the documentary.
Him dead.
The documentary.
Listen. I don't know that. What were they even doing with that documentary?
It was pseudo.
Where did they get the obsession with the guy that's playing this guy? He's like obsessed with trains.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he had that kind of. He was one of those, guys. That was common for like guys his age when they were kids to be obsessed with trains because that's like all they had. I don't really know actually.
You decide. I think that he found the cave. And there's something bad in there. I bet he's in that cave and a bear fucking ate him.
So they said they found the phone, and what was the other thing that they found?
They just found his phone.
I thought they said they found. Oh no, she said he left his camera at home.
Yeah, she said supposedly, allegedly. Okay, I don't believe her.
Oh. Well, what if he accidentally forgot his phone? He didn't know. And then when he fell, he was like, I forgot my phone. Now I can't call for help.
I don't believe you. Kenny Beach's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's probably fake.
Just kidding.
Kenny Beach's girlfriend.
There's no bears, but there's a lot of snakes.
See, he could have gotten bit by a snake. Yeah, I mean, aren't those things hella venomous? Oh yeah, I don't know.
Bro, what if we look at the
Maybe he got eaten by vultures
on Google Maps and we find him? Can you imagine?
Wait, what year did he go missing?
Like 2019.
Has Google Images been updated since then? It's not like a live picture.
You might be able to find his bones.
You know what's fun is going on Google Earth, like Street View, in like random countries in the most random little town. Just seeing what it's like to drive through your town in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like dilapidated and depressing.
Let me see this. Whoa, look at this. Oh. Oh. Where did he say he was? He was by
I don't know. Mount Charleston?
Mountain. Was that it?
I think so. Something like that.
Let's find his dead body.
Oh my god. This is what our podcast has turned into.
Well, I'm interested, Mike.
Finding dead bodies on Google. We want answers.
We want answers. And I'm serious. This is it. This is all it is? It ain't even that big. What are they talking about? Why couldn't they find my boy?
I don't know. What are you suggesting that me and you go out in this fucking desert and...
Excuse me?
Find this man?
Hell yeah, I'm down. Let's go find Kenny Beach. And we
all
find
right,
him and he's like Neanderthal. Can't speak anymore.
Well.
Kenny, it's us. We found you.
Kenny, it's us. Like he knows us.
Right.
Your biggest fan.
Where did he say he was, Trina?
I don't remember. I remember Mount Charleston, though.
I'll remember it when I see it. Because he was in, like, that huge mountain range.
Yeah, it was like a canyon, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got this shit all mapped out. How'd they not find him?
Well...
Those fucking bastards.
Could have been picked alive by vultures and there's nothing but bones left.
True.
So they definitely wouldn't be able to see him.
You know, on Reddit, someone claimed that they found the M cave, and they like marked
Really?
it on the map. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then there was another guy on YouTube, but you just heard Kenny. He said it's like it's in a mountain, like it's a
Yeah.
cave right in a mountain.
He said it was
And
on
they
the
tried to
side of a
say that
mountain.
they tried to say they found the M cave, and it wasn't even a mountain at all. It was just a
Well,
rock.
I mean, I'm sure there's other caves that kind of are shaped like an M. I feel like that's a very natural shape in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, Charleston Peak?
Well, maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't Mount Charleston.
Let's find him on the map. It's MK. No, they're lying. I don't believe them. He disappeared November 10th, 2014. Sheep Mountains.
Oh.
Sheep Mountains? Oh.
He's gone.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
Well, it's just sad because like cases like that with people who really didn't have any, I don't know, authority or anything, they weren't important. Like they're not going to exhaust their,
Right.
resources and
Ooh.
stuff to go find them.
And then I sent you that video too the other day about the submersible, right?
My mom said he fell down the hole.
Yeah.
Yes, the
He fell
submersible.
straight down, broke his leg, shot himself in one of those holes.
Literally right after he filmed that video.
Yeah.
He's probably in that little cave right there.
Well, supposedly he filmed that video and then he came back and then he went back out.
Oh. Maybe that was like his. Well, maybe he had something else that like tracked his phone so he knew how to get back there. That's why he left his phone there.
Huh.
I don't know. It's
I don't
just
believe
a.
it. He's
I don't
big
believe
guy.
anything.
Yeah, I don't believe anything. I believe nothing. And I definitely don't believe you, Kenny Beach's girlfriend, if you're watching this.
She finds our podcast.
Someone
Sues
said
us.
it to her. Listen to these two bitches talking shit on you, Kenny Beach's girlfriend.
Kenny Beach's girlfriend doesn't even give her a name. Just Kenny Beach's girlfriend.
Well, I can't believe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he really didn't take his camera and he just took his pistol, I mean, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, alright, fine. He's dead. He killed himself.
He's dead.
Is that what you want to hear?
He didn't teleport.
Kenny.
He didn't get abducted by aliens in the desert. He's just gone.
Hey. Hey.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to share a paranormal experience that you've had?
I don't know. There's so many little ones, honestly.
Little ones. Okay. Take a second. Gather your thoughts. I'm going to take a real quick intermission, go to the bathroom. And when I come back, let's share our stories.
All right. We will be right back
I gotta pee.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah. 5-minute intermission. We'll be back.
For one viewer, my mom. All right. Bye, Mom. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Mom.
have no idea what the howling is. I don't know if Leona put on a weird soundtrack or what's going on there.
Oh, hey. Hello?
What on
Return
earth
of the
is that
Wolves.
howling sound?
I
What
thought
is
it would give
that?
us some ambiance.
Oh, it's awful.
Ambiance.
It sounds like some weird child
You don't like it?
pretending. No, did you hear it?
No. I went pee. I just turned it on random.
Oh,
Well,
it's
listen. Those are the
Brandon in the
royalty-free
chat.
sounds,
Can you
okay?
stop the
Beggars
howling?
can't be choosers.
That's funny.
Oh, I'm gonna get some more water so I can pee some more.
Well,
Eh.
that explains that.
Sorry.
I was so confused because I had the phone on my or the volume on my phone up,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to go pee too. So then all of a sudden I just hear this howling, and I thought it was Athena in your mic.
Mm-hmm.
Because it totally sounds like something she would do.
Yeah. I guess we could hear this. Can you hear it? Probably not.
Yeah, no, you can hear it. Yeah.
You can hear the crickets?
Uh-huh.
Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. Where were we?
We were going to share some experiences.
All right. Yeah. All right, you go first.
Oh. Okay. I did not experience anything I don't believe as a small child. Not that I remember. I don't ever recall seeing anything as a kid that I thought was weird, but who knows? You know, when you're a kid, you will talk to a wall and not question anything. So, I definitely, it wouldn't have been until we moved into the house that my mom currently lives at, that I had a few really weird experiences there. The most memorable one would definitely be when I was sitting in the dining room. I was waiting for my grandma to come pick me up because we were going to go have breakfast at my mom's work. They did breakfast every Sunday, and my grandma would come pick me up. So I was the only one in the dining room, and across from where I was sitting, it's kind of like the entrance of the house. There's a coat rack, and there was this like green purse hanging out. I remember it was this like weird green, like fake alligator skin purse. I don't even know where we got it. But it was hanging on a hook, and it spun around on that hook and then just came back down and just stopped. Like it wasn't swinging, it just came to a complete halt. And I remember staring at it for a really long time because I was so confused at what I just saw. You know, your brain's trying to process. And I just remember telling myself it was the cat, you know, just trying to make sense of it. Um, and then I think my grandma showed up like 10 seconds later, so I left. But that's probably the most chilling thing I feel like I've seen with my eyes. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, um, at her house, I mean, I remember one time my sister woke me up in the middle of the night saying she heard somebody walking up and down the stairs, but nobody was there. And I remember that freaking me out because she woke me up literally out of my dead sleep to tell me this so I could be terrified with her because, you know, Why be
course.
scared alone when your sister's in the next room? Um, and I know there was a few other weird things. One time, me and my friend Allie were in my room, and we were just, I don't know, we were just sitting there talking. It was late at night, and I had this candle on my shelf, and all of a sudden it just came flying off the shelf and just landed in the middle of the room, like perfectly straight up.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I remember me and her just kind of looking at each other and being like, "What the hell?" And we booked it and we took off, and it was funny because we actually went to Josh Pettigrew's apartment. We were just talking about the other day. We went to his apartment, and he lived right across the street from that cemetery on
Yeah, I used to live
like
by it.
on 87th and Plum. So we
Yep.
like go over there, we're freaking out, we're telling him about it, and then he literally forces us to go to this stupid cemetery with him and walk around. And, not that we're
Wow.
already terrified, I know, but that was just a funny, memorable night. And I know there was a few other things I can't really remember a lot. It wasn't anything so traumatizing at my mom's house, but and then there were some
Are you
weird
hearing
things that I
that,
experienced. Am I hearing
Mother?
what? Oh, mom in the chat. You
Mom in the
still live
chat? Can
there.
we get a mom in the chat? Please.
But so she said, what? Um, well, no, because Weston's friend, my brother, his friend was living with us at the time. I'm not going to name drop him, but he was living with us, and he was just a very strange, negative guy. Like he just was very quiet, and he always just looked really angry. He never really smiled.
Negative
He was
energy.
just Yeah, he was just kind of like a real bad vibe. And, I remember we all tried to kind of just be really nice to him, but me and my sister truly believe that he caused a lot of that his negative energy and whatever he was carrying with him was the root of all that. And then there was other little weird things that I experienced with you back in like
Like what?
2012, 2013 when you were living with your mom at Three Lakes.
Really?
Yeah. The glass jar thing, where they all cracked in the same spot. I remember that being like really
That was
scary, but
fucking weird.
who knows? Yeah, that was very fucking weird because you had all kinds of things in that box.
But they were also bought on clearance, and they could have been, what do you call it? Tempered wrong?
But the fact that they all cracked in the same exact spot in the
Yeah, that
same
was
way
weird.
was very weird. And there was a time when we were sitting, because the way her mom's apartment was, is she didn't. I don't think there was anybody on either side, was there? It was only above. Yeah, so there was like
Only
no one
above
next
and
to her.
across the hall.
And the wall that we were sitting next to was outside the hallway, which was like a downstairs. You had to go downstairs and then there was her apartment. So it wasn't like a walkway, like where people were, or I think it was. I don't know. But
It
anyways.
was, but there was only like an old man, and he was always at home across the
Yeah,
way.
there was
And
just
he
no way there
eventually
was
died.
somebody there. But
Yeah.
we heard a super loud bang, just one really loud bang on the wall when we were sitting there. I just remember we both looked at each other and we were like, what was that? And just being really scared. And I think we had been talking about your dad, which was what was really weird about it
Really?
when it happened. And I'm sad you don't remember that because I just remember that being like really scary
I
and
probably
weird.
blocked that shit out. But it's
Yeah,
really
I
weird that you
guess.
say it was a bang on the wall.
Why? Why is it weird? Is that what you heard? Or
Huh?
why is it
Yeah,
weird that it
well,
was.
for my story. But we'll get to that.
Oh.
You keep going.
But it was just one bang on the wall. It wasn't anything crazy. Maybe it was the foundation settling. I don't know, but it was a quite loud bang and we were both very scared and there was nobody out in that hallway. Um so that's another one. And then anything else I've experienced is something that, or is stuff that I went out of my way to experience, I guess. Like I went purposely to a weird, creepy place to experience things. Um because I'm weird. But my
Alright, big
mom
choice.
my mom actually bought me tickets to go to this like haunted hotel. It was like Hotel Josephine. I forget where it was, but it was like an hour or something drive. And me and Sarah went, and we got there. It was Sunday. We got there like an hour late because we got a little bit lost. But it was fine. They just began everything, but they kind of like let you do whatever. They let you explore the hotel, do whatever you want if you had your equipment. So me and Sarah were upstairs in in the hotel hallways. We were the only one in that hallway at the time. And there was nobody booked at this hotel, by the way. So, but we were in this hallway. We were just kind of like having fun, trying to capture stuff, and then a door just like popped open next to us, and it was like a supply closet kind of thing. Like there was a bunch of stuff in there. I remember like sticking my phone in there and trying to like record what was in there because I was so scared to like open the door fully. But it just like came open, and we closed it. We tried to debunk it. We jumped around, everything, because we weren't even moving at the time when the door opened. I mean, we were literally just standing there, and it was right next to me that it popped open.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that was the only thing that we experienced there that night. We weren't there super long. I mean, they had some weird, like, haunted house in the basement, which was really creepy.
Ugh.
Yeah, they had some weird, creepy dolls down there, and there was a lot of people there who were a lot more like serious and like well equipped for for ghost hunting versus me and Sarah. We just had like our cell phones, like, whoa, cool, and they had like these big old cameras that they're carrying around on their arms, and
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, it was just um but that's
Paranormal
another
sweats.
yeah, that's another little thing. And then other than that, I mean, what we experienced a couple weeks ago was pretty crazy, I think, and I really wish that our first stream saved, because that was so
It was.
bizarre, and I feel like it happened for a reason.
Yes.
Like it cut us off for a reason, because it didn't want us to
Yeah.
capture that stuff.
It's
So
like, no. You don't get
yeah.
to have evidence.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just like, no, but I mean, obviously, if I don't know if anyone is in here that was in there for that one. But we basically heard um kind of like disembodied voices for the most part. I mean, we heard like screaming, we heard a grunt, we heard like moaning sounds. And we were in the middle of nowhere. We were at Blackjack Battlefield in Baldwin, and there is nothing around there. There is like houses. There was houses, maybe, I don't know, but like a little
Way
less than a
far
half
away.
mile,
Not
yeah,
anywhere
away.
near where the sound came from.
And there was no way we would have heard anything from that far, because there's so many trees. And those houses were completely blacked out. I mean, there was
Mm-hmm.
no signs of life in those
We
houses.
drove all around. But
We did. We drove down every road, and we tried to find.
we drove right where that sound came from, and it was all open field.
Yes, that was the most that was the most mind-boggling thing, is because when it was happening, we were like, there has to be people over there, because it sounded so close yet far away enough for us to hear it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of sounded like it would get farther or closer, and it was so random. We just kept hearing like voices. You couldn't make out what they were saying, but you could hear people talking.
Yeah.
And it
Like
was
in the
so
trees.
creepy. Yes,
Yeah.
like all around us, you could just hear people talking. We heard a grunt, we heard a moan, we heard
Yeah.
screaming.
That was fucking creepy.
It was the grunt and the moan
thing,
was
and
right
the thing
next to
was
us.
too, is that was coming right from the trees there on the property that we were
Yes.
on, Like that
Yeah.
was legit behind that big ass tree.
Mm-hmm.
That was
That was-
terrifying.
that
That
was
makes
super
my
weird.
eyes water right now, because that was
Yeah.
actually scary. I was like, what the fuck?
It's more
'Cause it was
scary
not an
now
animal.
because we didn't know. We weren't aware that there was literally nothing around us. I mean, we kind of knew,
Mm-hmm.
but we wanted to make sure when we left. And then the other freaking thing is, when we were leaving, there was just this big ass female deer just kind of sitting there in the
Huge
field
deer.
next to where, yeah, huge. She was huge. It had to be a female. I didn't see antlers.
Yeah,
At
I
least,
think so. I didn't see antlers. It was kind of hard to see their ears in general.
Yeah, you could definitely see the eyes pretty clearly in the body. It was pretty big.
Yeah.
But it just stood there. It didn't move at all. It just stared at us. And then
Mhm.
when we drove away, we'd come back. It was still there, staring in the same direction. We'd drive away,
Yeah.
come back, and it was still there,
There was something just
standing
really
and staring.
eerie about it.
It was because it just did not. I mean, I know deer do that. I know they get
Yeah. Deer in
stuck in the
headlights.
headlights. Yes. But it was weird. I mean, I honked my horn and it didn't even budge. It was just kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
Not
It
that
had a
that was
really
connected,
serious look.
but it was still really scary. Yeah, I
And then
was just kind of
also
like,
it was
what the
kind of
hell?
foggy out.
Yeah,
It
it
was a
was. It
whole
was super
vibe.
foggy.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a really interesting night. I'm really sad that we didn't catch anything, but
Yeah. We can
at the
always
same
go again.
time,
That's the great
that,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, you live so close to that. It's
Redo.
crazy. But it's funny because
Can I get a redo in the
we,
chat?
because we were kind of being really silly and trying to interrogate and
Yeah.
try to get a reaction, and I think we got what we wanted,
Pro
but we didn't
slavery
capture
losers.
it. Yeah, because yeah, it was a battle about slavery, and
Yeah.
we just kept calling them
We were
pro-slavery
kinda
losers.
yeah. We were calling out the pro slavery guys. We're
Yeah,
not cool
that
with
was that was really
them.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, we tried to do that spirit board thing, not like a Ouija board, but like a
Pendulum. Yeah.
pendulum, yeah, and that didn't really do much. So
No. I didn't really like
we
that.
ended it after that. Yeah. It was because that's when we started hearing all the
I've
weird
used a
voices and
board like
stuff.
that before, but I don't know. And also the table was also like slanted.
Yeah, that
It was
was
like all
horrible.
broken.
We'll have to go back and film it and then upload it later on versus trying to live stream
Right.
it because
Right.
it just that did not work.
Yeah.
But that was fun. But that's about it for me that I can remember. I mean, I know I've heard a lot of weird things from people, and um I mean, the only thing that ever happened at the house I lived at in Olathe with my siblings um was one time I came home from work and I opened the front door, and then at the same time the door that goes down to the basement came flying open. And you could be like, oh well, that's just the pressure or whatever, when you open doors. But the thing is, I tried to recreate it. It didn't happen. And in that door, it sucks because you have to know that door, but you have to physically push it. You need to push it to get it to go
Yeah, I
all
think
the
I
way back.
remember that door being kind of heavy.
It's heavy. Yes, it's heavy. It doesn't just fly open. You have to push it across the carpet because it has that, resistance from the carpet. But that thing came flying open right when I opened that door. And I remember just standing there being like, what the fuck? And I remember immediately like Snapchatting Sarah, like, I'm so scared right now. I just got home from work because we both worked at Quick Trip at the time. And oh my God, that was really weird. But I did my first Ouija board in that house. I'm so sorry.
Mom.
Kelly
Oh
left.
my God.
Mom. Yeah, I know.
Just opened
I'm
a
pretty sure.
portal casually in your house.
Yeah. And
But you
I don't
shut
remember a
it. Did
ton
you
from
close
that,
the
but
session?
we did. Yeah, we followed the proper steps. We had candles surrounding us. We did, we opened the board. We said hello, goodbye. But it was really weird because we experienced what a lot of people experience, where you lose track of time. And it was crazy. It was like 4 hours had gone by so fast. I mean, it felt like maybe an hour. And then next thing you know, it'd been 4 hours. And it was the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest feeling in the world. And at that point we were like, what the hell? But we kept getting, which a lot of people, I guess, experience this when they use Ouija boards, where it goes back and forth to Zio, 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 which is supposedly a demon, the Zozo demon. But a lot of people kind of speculate that it's made up or fake, or he's like a trickster or something that often communicates via Ouija boards. But I don't know. And then and then we stopped. We ended the session when that happened. We were like, that was terrifying. And then for the longest time, I wanted Sarah to do it with me again. I'm like, can we please do the Ouija board again? Like, I was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And she didn't want to. Like, she was very kind of like weird about it. And then finally, after like months of trying, I got her to do it again. And we sit down to do it, and then literally immediately the first thing we get is the Z-O, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we just immediately closed it. Yeah, and I haven't done one since. Because that was really scary.
Oh, bro, that is terrifying.
Yeah. and you know, I don't know, I feel like whenever you're alone in any house, you hear noises, you hear weird things, and you just kind of play it off like, it was my cat, or it was house settling, it was a squirrel. So I can't really say if there was anything else crazy that I experienced, but just little things, and that's enough for me to want to really I don't know, go out there and find more, experience more. I went to the Missouri State Penitentiary in or not St. Joseph, but Jefferson, Missouri.
Yeah.
And that was really cool, but there was just like 300 people there. So it was really hard to, get alone, get somewhere and try to experience something. And it was so cold. It was like 30 degrees. So we ended up leaving early, but I remember at one point we were all like, they lined us all up. We like broke down into little groups of like 20 people, and they lined us all. We went down to death row. Pitch black darkness. We're all lined up against the wall. And then we heard like random shuffling just going down the hall, which was freaky. And then the really funny part was when we were in death row, the tour guide, or whatever you want to call it, she was like, I need someone shout out a name to, or like, I don't know. She literally just said, someone shout out a name. So I was like, Sarah, because I didn't know what was going to happen. So then poor Sarah had to go sit in a prison cell on death row by herself.
Oh,
and pitch black. I was like, oops. But she did it. She did it. And she sat in there. She said she just felt very weird. And then me and her went and stood in the death row, their showers alone. Me and her just stood in there alone. And it was so dark. It's so hard because when you're in that complete darkness, your eyes, they really do play tricks on you. I mean, you will think you're seeing faces, you're materializing things, and it's scary, it's terrifying. Yeah. You don't know. You're like, am I actually seeing this? Is this actually happening? Is that actually moving? Is it just my eyes?
Yeah. That's what's so, I don't know, it makes it spooky, but also it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, but there's no like reason, at least if I've heard that, to have a successful paranormal hunt, or whatever you want to call it, it has to be done in the dark or pitch black. I think that really intensifies your fear, which supposedly they feed off of, and they feed off your energy. So it might help, but it's not necessary at all. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it for moi. So go ahead, Liana.
I want it to feed off me.
What?
I want it to feed off me. I want to find some scary place, and I want it just to feed off my anxiety and my fear.
Well, I think that me and you could display enough fear, because me and you were pretty creeped out in the darkness outside. Because
I'll sit here with like eyes watering and shit, scared of the dark, watching like Ghost Adventures. Zach Bagans being a fucking dork, and I'm scared. Because I'm like, oh my God. There's something about the paranormal that is so terrifying to me.
It's like an adrenaline rush. It really is.
It's not
you
so much... You
experience it, it's scary.
Yeah.
And then you want to do it again.
Yeah. And I'm not scared of, like, spirits. Like, that's creepy. Yeah, I mean, it would be a little spooky. Like, you know, a spirit of someone who died or something. But it's the demonic shit that really freaks me out.
Yeah. And that's how my dad sees it. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He doesn't believe in, nice spirits. He believes that they're all demons. Every single one you encounter is a demon. And it's kind of, it's a theory. It's a thought. Like, it very well could be, but who's to say there isn't nice demons?
Yeah. I think that there are spirits and demons.
My dad would smack me if I just said that to his face.
Really? I
No.
would smack the shit out of him. You hear that, Daddy? You hear that, Papa? Papa McCain? Coming for you. Yeah, I think there's spirits and demons. I think that demonic entities can manifest if we have enough negative energy, coming from you, like anxiety, fear, hate, those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I think that they attach themselves to people who feel hopeless and angry and sad all the time, and those people who are like, the world's out to get me and everything fucking sucks all the time. I feel like, yeah, an attachment can happen.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also
I
think,
mean,
too, it doesn't have to be that extreme. It can also be, like, I think that they can attach to sadness and things like that.
yeah. I mean, there's theories that, poltergeist activity where shit's flying around and coming off the walls and shelves is
Yeah.
created by your own
That
energy.
shit is terrifying. I don't ever want that to happen to
Telekinesis.
me.
Like you're doing that, subconsciously. You don't even know it.
In my
It's
family home in
telekinesis.
Kansas City, Kansas, my parents experienced a lot of poltergeist activity.
The word poltergeist is just scary.
Yeah, it is. I never experienced any poltergeist activity. And nothing like no doors opening, um shit falling off the wall, shit flying across the room. I remember my dad and my brother were upstairs cleaning his room one day, and they were cleaning off the top of his dresser, and he had this big huge like dresser, and it has like a bunch of Batman collectibles on it. Like there was a bat plane and Batman action figures and stuff. And my dad took them off the dresser and he put them on the top of the bunk bed. And this was one of those like classic metal bunk beds, that had
College
the
dorm
railing
style.
around them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he had set it up there. And anyway, they were cleaning the room, and my dad admitted that he was getting frustrated with my brother over something. But in the middle of that interaction with him being frustrated, kind of having a shitty attitude, the bat plane flew across the room towards my dad's head and hit the wall and crashed and broke.
See, now that's terrifying.
Yeah, and
That's like
they were literally on
undeniable.
one side of the room and the bunk bed was on the other with the shit on top of it, and it flew across the room like at a really aggressive speed. And it freaked my dad out so bad. I remember me and my mom were downstairs, and he came downstairs and he was spooked, man. And my brother,
My dad was a
he
police
cried.
officer. For those, he
Yeah,
was a police officer. This
yeah.
man
My dad
wasn't.
was a cop. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
not. He was not a. He was a very strong person. But I also know that my dad believed in the paranormal. My dad was a Catholic. My dad grew up Catholic, and so he held a lot of those beliefs. That demons were real and spirits were real. I remember my childhood home, also in Kansas City, Kansas. It's a house behind Eugene Ware Elementary School. I remember all of my family believed that house it was actually my grandfather's house, but all my family believed that house was a portal. There was like several portals opened up in that location. And my earliest memory, too, of that house was I was just a little girl. I was younger than Athena. I think I had to have been 4 or 5. And this is one of those things where it's like you're really little, you don't know. But I'm telling you, dude, this has stuck with me for so long because it's so fucking freaky. But I went to bed, as normal. And my room, or my bed in my room, was by the window. And I went to bed like normal. But there was something about that night in the dark that just, I don't know. There was just something, there was something there, you know? Like there was a presence in the room, and I just immediately felt terrified. And I don't, and the thing too was I really wasn't even completely in the dark because my bedroom had like sheer curtains on the windows, and there was, you know, a street light right outside, and it shined in my room. But there was just something about that night that it was just really fucking creepy, and I really felt like there was something in there with me. And all I remember was I went under the covers and I didn't come out.
What is it
And
about being under a blanket that just makes you feel so safe?
because you cannot see shit.
Oh.
Like, you cannot see shit. Like, I'm not seeing you. I'm not acknowledging you. Fuck you. But even when I put that blanket over my head, I swear there was something standing right there.
That feeling. It's like
Yeah, that
you can
feeling.
just feel
Yeah.
when someone's eyes are just like
Yes.
peering
You can
at you,
feel
just
somebody
intensely
next
staring
to
at you.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And something was there. And I just stayed under that blanket. I stayed there. And then eventually I fell asleep. That next morning, I woke up so disoriented. My Aunt Franny woke me up. She was like, "Hey, look, I got a new Barbie doll for you." And I was like, "Oh, it's a badass Barbie doll." But also, when I sat up in the bed and I looked around, I'm on the other side of my room now. My bed had moved from one side to the other. And I had this big, heavy wooden bed that my grandpa Cole had built. Like, that's a heavy motherfucker. I definitely wasn't going to be moving that. But my bed was on the other side of the room. And I remember my Aunt Franny making a comment about it. We're like, "Oh, I like how you rearranged your room." You know, trying to make conversation with me. Because she was like my babysitter, you know. She always looked after us when my mom was at work when I was young. And I remember that so vividly, dude. Like, it's crazy because I was so little. I wasn't even in kindergarten yet. And I just remember waking up on the other side of the room. And I was like, what the fuck? I felt this strange thing. I wake up. My bed is on the opposite side of the room. It was just really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
That's terrifying as a
I asked
child.
my mom about this. Yeah, it was. I asked my mom about this way later on. And she didn't remember it. But, you know, when she started thinking about it, she's like, I think I remember, you know, being confused because your bed was moved at one point. But I don't know. It was so long ago. And that was that. That was that whole conversation.
I mean,
so
it's
I
at
no
least
idea.
a little bit of validation, so you know you're not crazy.
Yeah. But it was just like, what the fuck, man?
Mm-hmm.
I know my brother saw a lot of stuff at that house too. My dad experienced, everybody experienced stuff at that house. I can't remember their stories. I just know they were like, this place is fucked. It's so haunted. Fuck this place. And my dad, you know, he was glad to sell it. But when we moved from that house out to Donahue into this older farmhouse, that place was just fucked up. I still believe that place is fucked up. Like, it takes everything. I wanna find out who lives there, and I wanna call them and just be like, have you ever experienced anything in your house?
Honestly, though, that would be so worth it to just try to find who lives there, and
Yeah.
even if you could probably find their Facebook or something.
And the
Just
thing
like, hey,
is I
you live
remember
here?
that when we were buying the house from the people before and we came to look at it, the wife and the husband, they had a little boy. He was in my room. They told my parents about it. They're like, yeah, we have some creepy stuff happen. You know, not joking, because they're like, I want you to buy our fucking house, you know? Like, you're not gonna, like, get way too deep in that shit. But there was something weird about them. Like, I think that they experienced something in there. But the crazy thing is that my mom found out that those two owners that lived there before us, they were getting divorced. And then the people that lived there before got divorced. So there's like this pattern of like rocky marriages at this property.
Wow.
But
Which
yeah.
is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt your
No, you're
story,
fine.
but it is like a common thing you see with really haunted locations, or especially houses, is that very similar stuff happened there, but like different families. Like
Right.
everyone's husband died who lived in this house, or everyone
Yeah.
lost a child in this house. And it's just like, what?
And I don't remember how far back they went with that, but I remember that it was like so compelling that it like freaked my mom and dad out, where they were like, like that's fucked up and weird. Why are all these people getting divorced who live here? But yeah, I can't remember the first time. Oh, there's this really scary one. I just got goosebumps. Oh god, it's unlocking memories.
Warming up, or maybe talking about it, because something could very well be following you. You could very well have, some kind
No, I
of
don't.
spirit or
No, I
energy
don't.
that's getting
No,
all
I
revved up
don't.
because you're talking about it right now.
No, I do not. That's the thing. I moved out of that house. I was away from my mom's apartment. I have not experienced a goddamn thing.
So it's probably
Nothing.
following your mom.
Yeah, definitely. It's attached to those people. I don't have nothing to do with that. And you know
Well, you
what's so
better
weird
hope
too?
that when your
Is that
mom's
I
no
feel
longer here,
like
it
in
doesn't
that
come through.
house, my room was the safest room. And I'll tell you why I think this. Because there was only there was 3 main things that happened to me in that room. Okay? But they were nothing like what was experienced outside of that room. And another thing, my cats, every cat we had a mama cat in there. She had like 7 fucking litters, okay? So many kittens came in and out of that garage. And there was always one that I loved so much, and they loved me, and we bonded, and I would bring them in, or we would let them in when my mom wasn't home. Sorry, Mom, if you ever watch this. Anyway, we would sneak the cats in, me and my dad, because we loved cats. And we would sneak a cat in, the good cat. All right? And we would train them like a dog, so they'd go to the door when they needed to go to the bathroom. But every single cat, it was like Twinkie and Holly and Big Kitty and so many other ones. Oh, I had a big orange cat. He was just called Fat Kitty. They would come into our house and they'd kind of say their hellos or whatever, and then they'd go straight up to my room. And my room was the only room that those cats would ever hang out in. You feel me?
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like that room was kind of, I don't know, more protected, I guess. Anyway, I guess I'll say my dad had that experience with the bat thing, remember? I was telling you about?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first things. After that, I was in the middle of telling that story. I'm so sorry. This is why I can't tell stories, because I get sidetracked. God damn it, Kenny Veach. You know?
He's here.
Fuck. So, anyway, my dad was so spooked by that. He came downstairs. He was so scared. And immediately he told my mom, he was like, I've got to bless the house. My dad had legitimate holy water that was blessed by a priest that he always had. And it wasn't really holy, it was like oil. It was like some kind of oil, I can't remember. But yeah, he always had it. And he anyway, he went upstairs, he blessed the house cuz it was crazy. It really fucked with him. I mean, that thing flew across the room. Now my dad and my brother were the only ones to know this. But yeah, he blessed the house. Another time that he blessed the house, and this one was really fucked up. My mom she started having like experiences, I guess. But one night we were all in bed. It was like late, like midnight. And my mom, she was still, she was still awake. But she was laying there, and I guess as she turned off the TV, she was getting ready to go to sleep. And she started hearing kids playing in the hallway. And it really freaked her out. And I remember her saying that she was trying to ignore it at first, because she didn't know. But then she started to get kind of mad because she thought that it was me and my brother and we were awake, way past our bedtime. And it was on a school night. You gotta hit the vape. Can't have a podcast without a vapor. Okay? Anyway. So she got up. And, oh no, she got up because she heard like a loud noise. She was like, what the fuck are they doing out there, So she gets up. She walks down the hall. She turns on the hall light. And the laundry baskets, because we had like 2 laundry baskets in the hallway for our dirty clothes. And the laundry baskets were fucking kicked down the steps. And all this laundry was down the steps. And my mom was pissed, and she like came into my room and she turned on the light. And I remember like she woke me up because I was like, what the fuck? And she was like, Leah. And I woke up, out of my sleep, and she looked terrified. And then she went into my brother's room and did the same to him. Well, we were fast asleep. And this freaked her out so bad that she went down and woke my dad up. And my dad was like, okay, let me check it out or whatever. And anyway, yeah. So that happened. And everything was fine. They were kind of freaked out, but they made us go back to bed. But it happened again, like the next night. Like the exact same thing. And my mom was so scared. And my dad decided, okay, I'm going to bless the house again. And this was also like months apart, by the way. This wasn't like jam-packed. It was like, there was some time apart from the bat thing and then this. But, so he was trying to bless the house, and, man, it was fucked up. But he went around and he was, going room to room and saying a prayer and everything, putting holy water. He would mark a cross on each of the door frames. That was like his thing, That's how he blessed the space. And then when he was done, he would go downstairs and he'd open up the door. But on this night, he made it to my brother's room, and lo and behold, the creepy fucking closet. Okay? My brother's room was weird because it was at the very end of the hallway in the upstairs, and it had 2 closets. And one of the closets had this little weird creepy door, and the little weird creepy door opened up to like this really small attic. And it was just always creepy, but my mom would use it to like store our toys and stuff. And so that's where all of our old toys and stuff were. But it was always really creepy, and I always hated it in there. But anyway, my dad got to that closet door, and he started to feel really scared, and we all started to feel really scared. And he was trying to bless it, and he said that he felt like he was being choked. And it really freaked him out. And for whatever reason, he called out to my mom and he said, open the front door. And so he finished off his prayer, and it was really scary. But I just remember all of us standing there, and the whole room just went ice cold. And my mom ran down the steps, and me and my brother followed after my mom. And she opens the front door, and this was like a calm, like summer night, you know? But it got ice cold, you know? And then we're standing, my mom, she opens up the door, and she's like calling out to my dad, and she walks slowly up the steps. And my dad is finishing the prayer, and then, like, I shit you not, we're standing there on the steps, and this cold fucking just wind blew past the three of us out the door. And the door kind of like slammed back a little bit. But it was the scariest fucking night ever. And my dad came out there and was like, "All right, shut the door." And he like blessed the door, the front door. And was like, "This is fucked up. Like, I don't know what we're going to do." Because my dad like swore that there was something in that room that was dark and tried to choke him out while he was trying to bless the place. And so that was really fucking weird. But it didn't stop shit. Okay? Because the shit just started happening again.
Well, I can definitely make it worse, honestly.
Yeah.
I've heard
and
of
that's what I
holy
think
water and blessings just making things way
Yeah.
worse.
And then, you know, like my husband always says, why would like demons and spirits, why would they care about like Catholic prayers?
Right.
That's assuming that they're like all Catholic or whatever. But demons and stuff are like a Catholic belief, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like the Romans. They're first mentioned by the Romans or something. Which I believe that shit because the Romans were fucking evil. You know, anybody can do the shit that they did. You gotta be fucked up. But, yeah, that was just like... And honestly, when I'm thinking about it now, I feel like after that, too, shit just got worse for everybody. Like, my mom and dad were arguing more. You know, it was just all bad, man. But, anyway, I have to go to the bathroom again.
Oh,
I was sitting here sucking down water. I'll be right back. Katrina?
Okay, well, all right. That's fine. I will continue the...
Yes.
All right. Well, while we wait for our lovely friend to come back here, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of hauntings or whatever you want to call it, which actually, let me just sidetrack here. So technically, what most of the paranormal community consider a haunting is like residual energy. So it is believed that I don't know if it's considered an element, whatever you want to call it, like wood, especially wood, can store a lot of energy in it. And so if there's strong emotion, strong energy in a house, like something really bad happened there, or there were some really intense memories and emotions experienced in that house, that those residual energies are stuck in that house and in that wood, and they kind of play over and over again. So if there's a location where people constantly claim that, oh, I see a lady in white go up and down the stairs every night at 10 p.m. or something like that, because that's what you hear a lot of the time, is you hear of silly little things like that, like, oh, there's a man with a top hat that he just shows up sometimes. And those are hauntings. Those are residual energies because they're just happening over and over again. They're just playing over and over again. And then whereas poltergeist stuff, again, it's, speculated that it could be telekinesis, and, it's caused by our it's the same thing, like intense energies and emotions. A lot of poltergeist is happens in places where there was a lot of negative energy specifically. So locations where, maybe a lot of people died, like hospitals and insane asylums and other locations like that. Typically those are going to have that crazy, the violence, poltergeist activity. So So yeah, so who knows? It's crazy to even think about. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just what I've heard. That's what I've read. That's kind of what I like to believe, and that's my personal belief. But I will shut
Period.
the fuck up now. Welcome back, Leona.
Hey.
So, anyways,
Yeah, we were talking about the wood too. I remember my
yeah.
family mentioning, like, in our old house that everyone said was like a portal, or like there was multiple portals opened up or whatever. This is why, bruh, if I see a house and it has wood paneling on it, fuck that shit.
Yeah, like
I'm like,
those
that shit looks
houses
haunted to me
that were
because,
built in the 1800s that are all wood and from like ancient
yeah,
trees that had time to develop and
yeah,
have
that's
also
crazy to think about.
absorbed a lot of energy around them, you know?
Mm-hmm. And, um, yeah, I remember my mom and dad mentioning something like that about the wood in the house, and then also having like all of my grandpa and grandma's like old furniture and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like real wood furniture, so
Mm-hmm.
something attaching to
Like
it.
solid wood, like pine and oak.
I heard from a little bird that my grandmother spoke to dead people.
Interesting. See, I always wonder that because I don't know if my just intense love for everything spooky and paranormal is revolved around the fact that I was born near Halloween. I like to think that, but I don't know. I kind of like to think somebody in my family along the line was, some cool psychic medium.
Yeah, probably. And honestly, with Scottish and Irish heritage, I definitely, no doubt in my mind.
Is there like documentation of your grandma? Um, like what did she do to speak with the dead?
She would just talk to them, but they say she was schizophrenic, so. And then
Oh,
she tried to kill my grandpa in his sleep or something like
she could
that.
have been possessed.
Yeah, true. But she was like schizophrenic. But she would like talk to people that weren't there, like dead people, and she would tell people that she could.
Like
I know,
she
I
would be
believe
like,
her. I believe
I
you,
see
Grandma. If
somebody.
you hear this, I believe you. I think you were a psychic bitch.
I mean, it's scary because you hear a lot of from like nurses and people who work in hospice that a lot of people in their last like 24 hours of life, like when they know that
Mm-hmm.
they're passing, they start calling out names of their relatives and their family members and saying that they can see them and they're coming, and it's like that's the most chilling thing for me. Like I'm like, what? Because how is it that it happens with um a lot of people? Why is it a reoccurring thing? Is it
Right.
a chemical being released in our brain? Like I know
That's what they
DMT
say.
gets released. Yeah, but it's like why does it cause us to see our family when our
Because it's
brain
like
is
maybe it's
actively
like I
passing?
think uh, it's like a psychedelic kind of thing.
Interesting. And it's scary and it's weird and it makes you think.
Yeah, it's
It really does.
hallucinogen DMT. And it's something that you can smoke too.
Yeah,
Our
I
brains might be flooded with hallucinogen DMT as we die, leading to vivid dreams. Near-death experiences have been reported for thousands of years. And I've also heard people like that have actually done DMT have like
Mhm.
crazy fucking like
Yes.
crazy experiences. What I
You
think
and
is
I
so
watched a
crazy,
documentary on it. Do you remember that?
yeah,
At your
I
mom's
think I do.
apartment?
Yeah.
And we were obsessed with it. We were obsessed
Yeah.
with the idea of it. We
Mhm.
weren't gonna do it, but we were like,
Yeah,
bruh.
I didn't want to do it, but I definitely think that it's interesting that something that, these people are, they're smoking DMT or however you're doing it, and they're having these crazy, experiences. A lot of people felt that it was like a spiritual breakthrough for them, and a lot of people
Hmm.
changed after that and like changed their lives and stuff, which I thought was
People
very
claim
interesting.
to be gone for like thousands of years is how
Yeah.
they felt. but they were
Yeah.
gone for a very long time, and it had been like 15 minutes.
Also, one of the consistencies that I see with a lot of people's, or I hear with a lot of people's stories, is that they were like, there was this fucking portal that opened up, and I just jumped into it. Like this weird, it was like the room, but everything was like really fucking warped and shit, you know? And they like walked through it, and they, were in just this completely different place, which I thought was crazy. My husband had his own experience with DMT. But
see, I feel like
he
I
jumped
couldn't.
through a portal, and then there was like another one opened up by this big, huge, tall, ethereal lady, he said. But she was in this room that was full of these like giant, mesmerizing pillars that had all these intricate, designs on them. And he couldn't stop looking at them because the architecture in the room was so beautiful. And she was like getting pissed because she was like, "Go through this fucking portal." And he was like, "Nah, bro, look at these pillars." And he didn't go through the portal.
Look at those pillars.
Look at them pillars, bitch. But
yeah,
I think it's just very interesting that that's what we experience when we die.
It is, and it makes you wonder. I mean, it sucks that none of us know. None of us are gonna know what happens, and we can't come back and tell anybody. But swear to God, if for some reason one of us dies before the other, we have to try it.
If you die before me, haunt the shit out of me, please.
I'll just start throwing shit off your walls.
Poltergeist that shit. Come in here and start fucking knocking shit over, throwing shit around. That'd be great. I would
this one
appreciate
time,
that.
I went to buy weed from a guy. I know that's highly illegal, but it's all right.
Well,
Anyways.
in this state. Oh wait, no.
I mean,
no, it's not. It's not. Shh.
Anyways, I went to buy this beautiful flower from this man. And anyways, so we're like, we were just sitting in my car talking, and he had this like little vape pen thing. And he told me that it was DMT.
Oh,
and he
shit.
was like, yeah, he's like, do you want a hit? I'll sell you a hit for $10. And I said, fuck no, like, I gotta drive home. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I was terrified. I'm like, what do you mean? You want me to casually portal to another dimension in the Starbucks parking lot? Like, no thanks. So, yeah, but I think I remember like saying that, being like, whoa, isn't that like, super crazy? And he said that like he would do it. He's like, oh no, I'll come to you and we'll we'll do it together. It only takes like 5-10 minutes. It's really crazy. And I was like, no, like it freaks me out too much. I don't think I can mentally handle it, because I could barely mentally handle shrooms. So I really don't think I can mentally handle DMT. But that was like the craziest thing ever, to be offered it, just knowing what I know about. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this has ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Offered.
That would be crazy.
But I didn't even know you could vape it. He was like, yeah, I have a guy that like makes these, and we put them in these, and we sell them for 10 or 10, 15, 20 bucks a hit. I was just like, what the absolute hell?
That's crazy. Yeah. No, I feel like if we do that, we should do it together, but we'd have to do it when like nobody's around, and it would have to be like a very safe place where we wouldn't have to worry about kid or dogs.
Yeah, but I really don't know. I feel like after trying psychedelics, I definitely feel like my brain has, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it definitely fucks with your brain chemistry. There's no doubt about it.
It absolutely does. It really changes you. It makes you think differently, because you experience some really intense, crazy emotions and feelings and thoughts. And there was a period in time where like I tried acid for the first time, and then I chased that high for a very long time. And one night I tried to take like 12 hits of acid, like just, I couldn't feel anything because I had done it so recently. But it's just like, to know that I put all that shit in my body is so scary. But I was just in a bad mental state, and I just wanted to feel something,
Yeah.
But
I get that.
It's fun. I mean, there was a point where I realized I couldn't do it that often, and I stopped doing it for a few years, and I did it again for the first time last year, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, it's never as intense as the first time, you know? The first time you
Yeah.
experience some
The first time I did
weird
acid was
thoughts
a beautiful, amazing experience. And
when you were like laying in the rain. Remember
yeah,
you telling
I
me
mean that
about that?
the once it started to wear off a little bit, the sun came out and there was this soft, gentle summer rain, and it was glorious.
It's crazy that like acid just makes you want to go outside. It makes you want to be
Yes.
with
And I
nature.
and I definitely think that in a safe area, probably not in a public area, definitely not,
Right.
but like a safe area like your backyard, with like pillows and blankets and shit set up and just an orange juice.
Yeah, some orange juice, some sunny
Yeah.
D,
Yeah, some like and fruit
or
and
it has to be
just
vitamin C.
just yeah, just surround yourself with beautiful natural things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be an excellent trip. Amazing.
Oh
And
yeah.
only and for
The
your
last
first
time I did
time,
it, it was
definitely
so
like
cold.
one or two hits, nothing more than that. I think
Absolutely.
yeah, one or two hits
Absolutely.
is perfect.
I
But
think I did barely a hit the first time, and it was very, very
yeah,
intense.
I did too, and it was spectacular. It was
Yeah.
it was very intense for several hours, and then
Mm-hmm.
as it wore down, it was just like you were in you though you literally saw the world differently, and
The
it
only
was
way
absolutely beautiful.
I can really describe the feeling though is you feel like you're a kid again. You feel like you
Mhm.
have that imagination, that crazy running wild, your brain going places feeling, and everything's happy rainbows and butterflies because, and that's the only way I can explain it. And it's just like it's such a great feeling. I mean, it sucks because it kind of comes in waves. It's like really intense, and then it drops, and then it's really intense, and it drops, and then you kind of just go in and out for a while until you're so
Yeah.
mentally exhausted you have to sleep. But
Yeah.
but I swear, the next day when you wake up, you feel like you're the most clear conscious motherfucker.
Yeah.
Everything's colorful. You
Mhm.
feel like you're on top of the
You're
world. Like
renewed.
yeah, you just feel crisp. Like
Yeah.
you just feel like
I
somebody just scrubbed you head to toe.
yeah. I think that my first trip definitely changed my life.
Yeah, same. Same. For me, the first time was like 2015 or 2016. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
was I was
2021.
14.
And that's crazy because your brain was still like really developing.
Mhm.
And that really has like and it makes me wonder, like there should be a study done on a bunch of
Why
people
I'm
who
so
did
stupid.
acid at such a young age. You're not stupid at all. You're very intelligent. And I personally think that psychedelics really make you kind of in a way more intelligent because it opens up your brain
Yeah.
to just so many things you would never think of.
I remember, and I think we all had this experience, everyone that I was with that day. But when it wore off, we were all sitting in this like music room area,
Hmm.
and we were just talking about like how we have just made really terrible choices and how we wanted to live a really beautiful life and just and that's the thing about it is it felt like it was like it was felt like you were accessing something. I don't know. Accessing the truth of the universe or something. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But to
Yeah.
see the rainbow prisms and to be able
Yes.
to
The
manifest
walls moving.
visions, yeah, and move walls. And I remember laying in the grass and looking up at all the stars in the sky, and it was so beautiful. And I was moving the stars around into all these different shapes like wolves and Buddha and Scooby Doo and all this crazy stuff, and I was watching them, sway back and forth and swirl, and I made shooting stars, and it was like I was controlling the outside world with my brain. It was really insane.
Hmm.
It was so crazy. Um but
Have
yeah,
you
it was
ever
it, it
stared at
was like being
yourself
in
in a
a
mirror
dream.
when you were on acid?
Huh?
Have you ever stared at yourself in the mirror?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
I would
You
stare
like
at
can't look
the
away.
first time everyone told me do not look in the mirror. We had 2 friends there that could not stop looking at themselves. They were so, like, they were in the bathroom, like, the whole time.
Yeah.
Looking at themselves in the mirror.
I remember standing there for at least an hour doing it once because I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
You
My
know?
second time when I ended up doing like 12 hits, that was a horrible time. Don't recommend it at all. Please don't do it. But I stared at myself and then I watched myself literally burst up in flames and I watched my skin peel back and turn to ash and it was crazy. I was like burning from the inside out and I never want to see that again. It was terrible.
I feel like every time you do acid, it's almost like a different experience, you know? You kind of experience a different feeling or intense emotion.
Yeah.
I've definitely had times where, because I don't know how many times I've done it. I've done it quite a few times, but I know that there was a time where I felt very sad, you know, and I cried, and I just remember crying and crying and crying and crying. Um, and then it was like immediately like, okay, I'm fine now. Like it was like just had to get it all out.
Yeah.
Or one time I literally watched a bunch of YouTube videos about Japan. I was just so fascinated with Japan. I watched that for like 12 hours, just tripping balls, you know?
Beautiful.
Yeah. It just really depends on.
Pink Floyd live was probably the best. Pink Floyd.
It's probably like
Led
your.
Zeppelin. Sorry, not Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah, I bet Led Zeppelin would be.
It was beautiful. It was spectacular.
And
that was the
music, I
first
mean,
time.
music alone when you're on acid
Oh,
is
yeah.
so crazy.
It's amazing. Really good
Especially
music,
nostalgic
though. Some
music.
shit is scary, like Lady Gaga. Fuck
Oh
no.
yeah. Oh
No,
yeah,
Lady
you gotta
Gaga
watch
scared
like
the shit out of me. I was like,
colorful,
absolutely
happy
not.
stuff. Mm-hmm.
But like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and all the classics and just beautiful instrumental kind of
Artists
shit.
that literally
Absolutely
make
spectacular.
their music for those experiences. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because they
Yeah,
totally did.
a lot of them
They
do.
were all
A lot of
tripping
them do.
balls in the 70s, writing beautiful music.
Exactly, because it
Best music.
really opens up your brain to just stuff that you just do not think about on the day to day. You really don't.
It was beautiful. It was a great
Like
experience.
everything starts making sense in a way, you know?
Yeah, that's what's so crazy.
Yeah, it feels like you're truly waking up.
I think I left off with the lesson of, you know, this isn't my reality. I do share this reality with everyone else. I don't believe that I'm the only one in the universe and I'm controlling everything and everyone's just a figment of my fucking imagination and that I build. But definitely this is our universe. And we are our own universe and we create what we want. And we can make our lives and ourselves whatever we want. You know? And that was something that I took from my trips. It's up to you. And you can change yourself and you can, you know, you can transform and evolve at any time, any moment. Anytime, you just decide and then you do it. And that's the beauty of being a human being. And that's the beauty of that, you know, I guess that, you know, that religious factor of free will, you know, because we have it and we can be whoever we want to be. And we can, you know, create our outside world however we want. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah. It's you know, it's definitely something that you need to do with people who give off good energy and good vibes. I for the most part 90% of the time I've done acid, I've done it alone. Which I'm very comfortable being alone. I enjoy my own company, so it's never bothered me, but I can imagine for some people that would be awful.
Yeah, no. Definitely want to do it with people who are good energy and have good intentions for you, because the first time I did it with people who were just so happy-go-lucky. We were young, we were spontaneous, we wanted to have fun, we wanted to love on each other and laugh and have a good time, and the vibes were immaculate. And then the second time I did it with people who had horrible intentions for me, and it was terrifying. It was like the scariest thing ever. It was the scariest trip ever. And that's why I'll never touch acid again, honestly. Unless I'm in, you know... Now I feel like as a mom, it's going to be really fucking weird, so I don't want to touch it, but... you know. That second time was
I
fucked.
see that.
That was not good for me at all. I was around very bad people, and that definitely
That's how I
plays
feel about
a
shrooms.
part. Mm-hmm.
I will never do shrooms ever again. And
Yeah.
it's sad because I just hear the greatest things about them and
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
like,
But
I
I'm really
can't.
not
I
interested in it.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had 2 bad experiences and that's enough for me, for my
Mm-hmm.
brain to put myself in that mental state if I were to
Yeah.
do it again. So,
Yeah. After that second one, I was good. I was like, no, no more of this. I'm okay. Maybe
yeah,
one hit in the future if I was like in the
half a
woods,
hit. Yeah.
surrounded by people who loved me, and it was all natural, and we had a fire, and we were dancing and
Because if you do
eating, and
just enough, like not a lot, but just enough, it just kind of feels like you're just happy drunk,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is fun.
yeah, that is fun. I like being happy drunk. I'm a happy drunk
I would
though.
also love to do it at like a lake in the summer, to just be
Yeah,
in the water.
yeah, yeah.
I think that would be so fun.
I probably wouldn't
But you would
swim in the
really have
water,
to be,
but I would touch the water. I wouldn't swim in it.
yeah, I guess it would really
I
depend.
might come in there like waist deep, but I definitely wouldn't like swim in it because I don't know, I wouldn't trust myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to think I would want to, but at the same time you really don't know until you're doing it. But
Yeah,
you'd have to make sure that obviously again you're with,
a
good
sober
people, good
person.
vibes. Yeah, yeah, and maybe someone sober or
Yeah.
maybe not, your family or you're on family vacation at the
No,
lake,
that
but
shit would trip me out.
yeah, that would be so weird
If it
trying to
was like
talk to
I
anyone in your
honestly like if it
family.
was just me and you, I could do it.
Oh,
Anybody
100%. Yeah, that
else?
would be great.
Absolutely not.
We should have done it last year. Just kidding.
Wow.
With Athena.
Oh my god. No, that would have freaked me
She would have been
out.
like, what the hell?
That's the thing. I can't. I would never be able to do it around her. I'd never be able to do it around
A
her.
lifeguard. That's what my mom said. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
a
lifeguard.
lifeguard for sure.
Pretty much. I mean, I've never. I think the very first time I did it, we were all pretty fucked up, and the only sober person was my sister's boyfriend. But it was really fun because he took us to 7-Eleven.
Mhm.
And being in the car was just like the craziest feeling ever, because you just kind
Yeah.
of have that weird emotion feeling.
Mhm.
It was, oh, I just remember being blown away and I didn't want to get out of the car, but we lived like a half a mile from 7-Eleven, so, we were there and
Cars are
back.
pretty amazing, when you really think about it. Like that's fucking crazy. Cars are fucking crazy. Planes are fucking
They
crazy.
are. We're just a little tiny little meat wagon operating this gigantic mechanical device, just
Yeah.
so casually.
And it gets
Just
us to
literally
all
with our
these
feet.
places. Like that's fucking wild, man.
Literally, that thing can take you 2,000 miles across
Anywhere you want to
the...
go, as long as there's a road
Yeah, it is crazy.
or trail, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful.
But, I mean, none of that's really related to paranormal, but in the same... it is. In a way, it is,
kind
though,
of is.
because it opens your brain. I don't know how
Yeah.
to... It just opens your
Who
brain up
knows?
to
I mean, it
just
could
so
open
many
your brain.
things.
Maybe our brains have access.
Our
Like
third
maybe we've
eye
always, our third eye. Maybe
opened
it
up.
blossomed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
I know this is really
That's the
random
thing.
and kind of off topic, but not... And it's
There's a
also
lot
really
of people
gross.
who believe that it can't be like drug induced though, the third eye thing. But I don't know much.
Oh. Well, I remember hearing or reading somewhere that you have to charge your butthole in the sunlight to open your third eye.
Okay. Wow.
That's why I said it's kind of
Let's go
random and
charge our
gross,
booty
but
holes.
I've heard
the
that if you
sunlight.
bend over and just, let your little booty hole absorb some sunlight, you'll open your third eye.
Well, you've got a pretty private backyard. I guess we could go spread our cheeks.
I do not. I do not have a private backyard by any means. I only have a bunch of weird shrubs and bushes on one side because my neighbor next door does not do yard work at all.
Really?
Oh yeah, their yard is...
Are they old?
No, I don't really see them ever. I kind of see them like in their cars, but I met the lady once because she's weird enough, a real estate lady, and she had to help me and my mom get into this house when I bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. I haven't seen her since, and I have seen some like older woman who was in her backyard, and she was talking to me once, and she was like, "I just come here to visit my grandson." I was like, "Eh."
Okay.
But I never see the kid. I never see him, and They have a dog. They have like this little Pomeranian. It's like the most docile ass little dog I've ever seen in my life. Like they literally let it outside. It just like walks into the middle of the yard and just stands there. That's all it does.
Oh, it's retarded.
And then it
Oh no, I did not say that.
and then it just turns around and it goes back inside. Like it literally it doesn't bark. It doesn't come up to the fence. Like Rain and Iro are just at the fence freaking out, and that dog's just like chilling, you know?
It's like, whatever, dude.
Literally, yeah. But again,
I'm vibing.
what did my mom say? She lives about 2 houses over. Oh, okay, so that wasn't her. I thought it was the lady next door.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Oh, well,
Mom.
then she must live in the party house. I don't know, because the house next to that house is like Party fucking Central USA.
Mm-hmm.
I swear they have a party every weekend. There's like 100 cars outside. It could be her house. I don't know. She seemed fun. Um, but anyway, so we've been streaming for a little over 2 hours now, and I think the only viewers have been my mom and Brandon. But that's fine. Is there anything you want to talk about to wrap it up, maybe? You know, you didn't really. Wait, can you hear me? Hello? Are you still there? Leona? All the people, listeners. I'm only showing, or I have only been showing um, two people.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
I just snuck off to the bathroom. Again.
Oh, okay. Well, that's funny. Like, I would, ask you a question when you actually do that. She had to pee. Well, I didn't hear that, I guess.
I'm here.
But yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't know if we should still continue streaming. I don't know. Or you didn't really get to finish up your experiences though, so I didn't know if you wanted to finish talking about those.
Oh yeah, I guess I could just. I don't know. It's a lot more.
I forget where you left off. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Don't know.
Well, are there any that you haven't shared that you really wanted to share?
Oh yeah, that one that really fucked with me. It still fucks with me today. Okay, so it's one time. God, I don't even remember how I ended up where I did. But okay. So, I don't know how it ended up happening, but I ended up really scared one night, and my dad always slept on the couch downstairs. So, I got scared, and I had to go and just be with my dad. And, I went down there and, like, made a little pallet on the floor next to the couch that my dad was on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so scared, I remember grabbing for his hand, and I woke him up, and he said, huh? He was like, Leah? I was like, yeah, I'm scared. And he was like, oh, okay. And he put his hand down there so I could have his hand. And he asked me, he said, what are you scared of? And I think I remember telling him I just was uncomfortable in my room. I was just scared, That's the thing, too, is, like, this is what I wonder about paranormal stuff or, like, spirits or entities. Every experience that I've had where it was, like, that presence,
Mm-hmm.
Why was I immediately terrified?
Right. Why is it when you sense that feeling, you just get this immediate sense of just doom and terror?
Is it because it's a bad thing? Is it a bad entity? Is it a bad spirit? Like, does it mean me harm? But it's almost like that. It's like a survival instinct or something. It's like when you're prey.
Instinct.
Yeah, and something's watching you.
I mean, it's like in the same thing. It's like, in sense, if somebody friendly or whatever. Like your friend's behind you intensely staring at you from behind, and you can
Right.
feel somebody watching you, and you just
Yeah.
kind of know someone's there, but you don't feel that terror.
Right. I don't know why it is when it's paranormal, it's like that. But anyway, I had my dad's hand. He was asking me questions. And I can't remember if I heard something or I saw something. But something happened that made me scared. That's why I was down there with him. And I told him about it. And he said, well, it's all right. Just, lay down and go to sleep. And when my dad asked me about it, it was like because looking back now, I know that he experienced things in the house. So it was like when he was asking me after I told him what happened, he was kind of alert, Maybe he was experiencing things that he didn't tell us about, and then me telling him something kind of validated it, and it made him afraid because he was like wide awake after that,
Mm-hmm.
But I just grabbed his hand and I rolled over and I laid there and I was trying to fall asleep, and it was just quiet, I think the air conditioner kicked on once. But in the living room, we had our living room was kind of spacious, and we had like our living area with our chairs and our couch and our coffee table and our TV. And then on the other side of the room, we had this big, huge computer desk with our computer on it and our printer and everything and filing cabinets and things. And I was laying there, and maybe, I don't know, it had to have been maybe 5 minutes of me laying there holding my dad's hand. All of a sudden, I just heard just clacking on the keyboard. Like someone was just sitting over there typing away, dude. Like just...
Ew.
Can you hear that?
No. Are you
Can you hear
trying to
that?
clack away at your
Yeah,
keyboard?
dude. I'm clacking
Oh, no, I
away.
can't hear it.
Oh,
Your
well,
mic probably has some kind of thing on
that's
it.
what I heard.
And that's
And
very distinct
and
sound,
it's very distinct. And it wasn't raining, because I looked out the window like, oh shit, is it like raining? Please tell me it's raining. Nothing. Window was bone dry. Trees weren't moving. And we had a porch light on at the time, so you could kind of see the trees, out there out the window. No. It was literally something back there just fucking with the keyboard. And I was so scared, again, just that terror. And I grabbed my dad's hand, and I couldn't see him because I was on the ground and he's up on the couch. And it just kept going. It just kept going. It was like it wanted to be acknowledged,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember grabbing my dad's hand tight, and he grabbed my hand back tight. So he was awake. He was hearing it. And I whispered and I said, Dad. And he said, Leah, just ignore it and it'll go away. And it just like stopped. Abrupt. And I laid there with my dad with his hand, just terrified. Like, what the fuck, What the fuck was that? And that was one of those things that I experienced with somebody else, So it was like, I don't know. It was just like, it still freaks me out today.
Yeah.
And then another time with my dad, I needed help with my history homework. And at this point in time, I had a desk upstairs in my room. So I called for my dad, and he was a late night patrol guy. So he worked overnights, patrolling. So he was always tired during the day. He tried to get up, by noon so he could, get chores done or whatever, or try to be functional. But I called him upstairs to help with my history homework, and I think this was after my parents split up. my brother wasn't home, my mom wasn't there, and my dad came upstairs and he sat on my bed for a little bit, and I really needed help with my whole entire paper because I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. My dad was a history buff. So he just laid down on my bed and I was asking him questions, and he would, do his dad thing where he's like, well, King Harry or King Charles, blah, blah, blah. And was just, talking to me and everything. And so then my homework got a little bit easier, so I started writing down the answers and stuff. And my dad ended up falling asleep. And he's over there snoring, and I was like, whatever, he's tired. But then I got to this question that was really hard. And he was snoring, and I remember looking over at him, and I said, I was like, Dad. And I was trying to wake him up, just real gently. I didn't want to, like, yell at him or whatever. I was like, Dad, and I'm looking over at my bed, And then I looked back on my paper. I'm like, maybe I can figure it out on my own. But then I'm like, no, I can't. And I looked back over at my dad one last time, and I said, Dad. And by my dad's feet on my bed, because I'm looking across the room. I can see the whole bed. I can see my dad. Right in the corner of my eye, I watched this impression go down in my mattress as if someone just sat at the end of my bed. And I'm staring at it now, and legitimately, it was like someone was fucking sitting there. Like, like how the bed, how it is when you sit on the fucking bed and the bed goes down.
Yeah. It's very apparent, yeah.
And I just went, Dad! And he was like, what? And then the bed popped back up as if they, like, got up, And I was like, Dad, somebody was sitting there, someone who was sitting on the bed, and my dad, he got up, he was all disoriented. And he was like, well, let's go downstairs. And I was like, okay. And that was the end of that. But I'll never forget that. There was
terrifying.
Nothing there, And I knew it wasn't my dad's foot, It was literally just this open area at the end of my bed. And it was like an indentation of somebody's ass.
That made me think of another thing I experienced at my mom's house when I was like, I don't know, 14. And I was living in that little room that, like, it was Weston's room originally. But I was like laying in bed and I really late at night, or I had just woken up, but it like felt like somebody was like dragging their hand like across my kind of like my abdomen, really, like right below, like right above your belly button, but below your boobs. Like just someone was like had pressure, and they were like running their hand, but in my brain, for some reason, my brain was telling me that it was like a mouse and that I needed to grab this mouse and throw it off of me. I just remember that being my thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember like touching myself, like finally just, throwing my hand on my abdomen, and then like it stopped. But it's just like a very clear, but I feel like I could see it. I remember feeling like I could see the indentation in my shirt just like moving, and that feeling that somebody was like dragging their hand across me.
Yeah.
Because, it's just, I don't know, just the the butt impression on the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And when I think
and
it's
that's crazy because
that's
a common
lot of
thing.
energy.
It is, yeah.
That's got to be a lot of energy. As far as paranormal world, paranormal investigators, it takes a shit ton of energy to make things like that happen.
Yeah.
So
like, so
that's scary.
when in a lot of paranormal shows, when they're doing stuff and then their batteries start dying, like, and then all of a sudden shit starts happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they sucked all that energy out,
Right. And
but that's
another time in that room too, though, I was laying in bed and I was like flipped over my back to my door because as I moved my bed on the wall that was like directly across from my door, like facing the door, And I was laying in bed and I had my back turned to the door and I had my red sparkly lava lamp on because I always had to have a nightlight. What?
Nothing, just keep going.
But anyway, it was like this red light, it lit up my room in this red light. But and it kind of lit up the hallway too. But I had my back turned, I was trying to fall asleep, and there it was again, that presence, that somebody was there. And I thought maybe it's my mom. She walked down the hall and came to check on me and was just standing there looking at me, or is my brother trying to fuck with me or something like that, But I had my back turned to the door and I was like, man, like, I don't know, it's just that fear, that terror, And I was like, I'm going to turn around because I got to see what the fuck this is. And it took me a while, dude. It took me a while to actually turn around and face that door because I was so fucking scared. But I turned
That's what sucks.
over.
So you get so scared you're paralyzed.
Yes. And it's crazy. But I turned over and I looked at that fucking door and I saw this dark shadow figure of a woman with like long, long black hair. And it's really scary too because my mom tells me about my grandma Nadine, my great grandma Nadine, and she had long black hair past her butt and a silver streak down the middle. And I just put that together this time, like right now. But anyway, there was this dark black shadow figure of a woman standing in my fucking doorway. And I remember it so vividly because I was so terrified. I stood there and I stared. I stared at it. I was like, what the fuck? Because I thought, well, is it my eyes? Am I seeing things? No, that's a fucking lady in my door. Just a black fucking outline of a chick. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I stared at it, and I just immediately turned right back over and went under the blanket. And I just stayed there, and then I passed out. I went to sleep. That was really fucking scary. I still remember what it looks like, but now it's kind of like, when I look back, I can see it, but also it's like, was it even real? Was it because I was a kid? Right. Was it my eyes playing tricks on me? That red light and the pitch black.
Yeah.
And I just got that scary feeling, and maybe my brain wanted to see something, but I mean, I remember it being very vivid.
Yeah, it's just it's sad that like the experiences like that, like I feel that same way too. Like, did it really happen that way?
Right.
Like, it's been so long, but it's like, why is it so clear and vivid in my head then?
Right.
It's just, it's terrifying because like being at that point where you're so scared that you are like paralyzed and you can't move is just the most intense, horrible feeling. Like, you're in almost like a state of shock until you can really mentally pull yourself together.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
It is. It's just sheer. I don't even think it's like you said. It's paralyzing because it's not even panic. It's literally just froze.
Exactly. Like a deer in headlights.
You can't talk. Yeah, you can't say anything. It's terrifying.
Like I was saying, like when I was, like the hand thing, I just remember laying there absolutely paralyzed. Like I knew, my brain kept telling me that there was like a mouse or something crawling on me and I needed to get it off of me, but I could not for the life of me bring my hand up to my chest to try and do it because I was so fucking scared. But I don't remember being that scared on any other paranormal experiences I've had, honestly. I just remember being like, what the fuck, But I feel like we probably would feel that way if we got... Yeah, and then that's another thing, is like it could be sleep parallelis. I can't say that word right now.
Yeah, but I was
I've never experienced that, I don't think.
I experienced it one time. And it was in that house, and it was in my brother's room, because when I moved back there, it was actually after I moved out of your mom's house and went back to my dad's house with my mom and my brother. I experienced sleep paralysis in my brother's room, because that was my room. And that was terrifying. The whole room was, I remember it very vividly, the whole room was lit up by the moon. That's all I could see, it was like pitch black and just the moon shining through, and I woke up and I couldn't move my body. I could only move my eyes, and I was on my back, and I literally saw the door open really, really slow, and I watched this black shadow shoot into the room. And I was so freaked out, and I remember I can't even tell you. I think I forced my eyes shut. I don't know what happened after that. But it was really scary. And then come to find out, when my cousin Liz and my cousin John came over, this was before I lived there again. They came over to stay the night with my brother after my dad passed away, and they were sleeping in separate rooms. Liz was sleeping upstairs in the room that I had sleep paralysis, and John was sleeping downstairs in the living room on a sleeping bag. And they both experienced sleep paralysis that same night.
See, now that's hard to I don't know, debunk or
Yeah,
say
crazy.
how, how is it possible?
Yeah. And it
It
was
can only
like,
be one
I'm
thing.
pretty sure Liz, I can't remember if she said that was like her first experience with it. Probably not. But yeah, they experienced it at the same time.
That's just crazy. It's, that's one of those things where it's really hard to just be like, there's no way, but it's like, well, no, I was there. You have three witnesses that can all agree, that's just like,
yeah, we
holy
all
crap.
had sleep paralysis in this house, in this room or near this room, underneath this room and in this room. And that's also the room that was, that had
I think she had to mute herself for just a moment.
But yeah, we all experienced it there. And that was, that was also, the room that the bat plane came flying at my dad's head. The time that he said that, he was trying to bless that room and he got fucking choked by a spirit or entity. And yeah, that room is just really fucked up.
Yeah,
it's my brother's room, so it doesn't surprise me.
It's weird how in places like that where there is a lot of crazy shit, paranormal shit going on, that a lot of it is condensed to one room. Like a lot of locations are like that. They're like, oh, well, this room's the most active, and it's
yeah.
And that's what really gets your brain moving, because you're like, is it, a negative, like somebody who's stuck there,
And for my last experience that I'll share, this is kind of going in with that. It ties into this, this happening in that room. But it happened next to that room, right? So I ended up, after that, I said, fuck that bedroom. And I moved back to my room, which was the middle room, the safe room. And that night, I had an ex-boyfriend there, and I had to let my cat in. I went to the front door to go and see if my cat wanted in, my big kitty. And I opened it up, and of course he was there. And then he went straight up to my room. And so I followed after him. I sat back down on the bed. We had music playing really quietly. And Big Kitty came to lay at the end of the bed, and we were just talking. And Big Kitty was laying at the end of the bed, and he just started cleaning himself. He's just relaxing after his kitty shenanigans all day. But we're talking, you know, and it's crazy because all this happened like back to back too, but we're just sitting there having a conversation, and I'm sitting up against my wall, and you know, on my bed, and then my ex-boyfriend is on my bed, you know, next to me, you know, on the outside, like, you know, to the open of my room. But I was on this wall, and the wall that I was on was the wall that's shared with that active bedroom where I had the sleep paralysis. And we're just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, dude, it sounded like a big, just like big old fist on the wall, just boom, 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 right on my back. Like, you know, it was like someone was on the other side of the wall, and they fucking, you know, they punched the wall like 3 times. And everybody was asleep. My mom was asleep. My brother was asleep downstairs. It was dead silent except for the soft music that we had playing. And my ex-boyfriend got up and went into the bedroom, and I remember Big Kitty was just on the bed, just froze, looking out at the doorway. And my ex-boyfriend got up, and he went and he turned on the light in there, you know, to see if like there was anybody in there, you know, which there's no way anybody was in there. But, you know, of course, nobody's in there. And, you know, he comes back and he sits down on the bed at the edge because he's kind of like, you know, he's on edge now. He's like, what the fuck? And we sit there and we just kind of wait. We turn the music off and we're sitting there. We're just kind of waiting because we're like, what the fuck was that? And Big Kitty, he's just staring at the door, which it's just pitch black out there in the hallway. So it's really creepy. And he's just staring at the door. And I catch him, you know, just staring, and I'm like, look at the Big Kitty. And he's just staring. So we sit there for I don't know how long, and we're watching this cat. And then all of a sudden, dude, he gets up and his back arches, you know, and all of his fur just, you know, puffs up. And he starts like yowling and growling and shit. And we're, you know, at this point, we're like, what the fuck? And we're just watching this happen. And we watch this dark shadow fly across the wall, you know, like towards my closet. And we're like, oh, you know, we're like, oh shit. And we stop and we're staring at the closet. And Big Kitty walks over there to the closet so slow, you know, like he's hunting. You know, like he's scared. And he gets there to the very entrance of the closet, and I just have, it's like folding doors, you know, and I just have one door folded out, you know, and he walks over to that closet, and he's still, you know, he's still growling, and we're just watching him, and then Big Kitty just jumps up, and like he's like, where? And jumps up, and he runs out of the room. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I hop up and I turn on the light, and, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? And we're like standing there in the quiet, you know, we're waiting for, hold on a second. Sorry. My cat jumped up on John's chair and it rolled into my back. Anyway, so anyway, yeah, we stood there, we turned on the light, and we're just like, what the fuck just happened, you know? And, I mean, yeah, that was it. But I was scared. It took me a while to get to sleep that night. I didn't know, you know. It's not that I didn't know what the fuck that was. I knew exactly what the fuck that was, you know? If you want me to be completely honest, that was definitely some scary fucking shit. You know, that was a bad motherfucker in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's really no doubt in my mind. And that was the most very recent thing that I experienced. And, yeah, because I think I was like 16, 17 at the time.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm 29 now. It's a long fucking time.
It is, but it's,
But it's
a
still fresh
lot
in
of
my mind.
scary paranormal shit tends to
Mhm.
happen in very specific locations. Like
Yeah.
it's weird to think that they're like stuck there. They're, that's the only place that they can go.
Mm-hmm. Or, shit gets manifested there. I don't know. There was a lot of negativity at that time. A lot.
Yeah, and I mean,
Not to
considering your
mention the guy that I
situation,
was with, I should never have been with. And he should never have been fucking around with me. That's for sure. I mean, he was an adult. I was a minor.
my mom said that it was a woodpecker
Hey, you know what?
outside your
I remember
window.
there was one right by my window one summer, and I
I
hated
don't,
that motherfucker. That
I don't think
pissed
a
me off.
woodpecker can make that loud of a bang. But I was going to comment that it was three bangs, which is another very, very, very common
Mock of the Holy
paranormal
Trinity.
claim. The mock of the Holy Trinity. Yep.
But I
The
never
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
smelled anything terrible. But yeah, it
Yeah, but
definitely
that's
was
not
3
always.
fucking bangs, dude. Loud as fuck. Right on my back. And I can't even remember what we were talking about. I don't even think it was anything serious.
Well, yeah, it happens at the most random times, it
Mhm.
seems.
It was
When you're
wild.
least expecting it, and then it's like when you want it to happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Well, I don't want that to happen here. I rebuke that fucking shit.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
claim that motherfucking shit.
I'm glad, that now as I'm getting older and getting more into the paranormal world, I am, obviously older and wiser, and I know what to do and what not to do. So,
right.
But I think that me and you are going to have some crazy experiences because I feel like, I mean, we want to get out there, we want to explore and try to capture some unexplained shit, especially
Absolutely.
live. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to do it live, whether on here or on TikTok.
Right.
But that's a matter of having to have good connection and all that. So
Right.
we'll work on that.
Well, we gotta get a better camera too. We gotta get
Yeah.
a good camera.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
by the
if
way,
I've
for our viewers out there, I don't know how many viewers we have right now, but Paranormal Pod does
Me and my
have
mom.
an Amazon wish list. If you'd like to support our channel and support our adventures for our paranormal shenanigans, please go check that out.
We do, we certainly do. There are some funny little goofy things on there just for shits and giggles. So, but there's also a lot of, very serious and much needed equipment. So if anyone's feeling generous,
our camera, a very good camera, and a spirit box is probably top priority to
and a
really
REM pod.
kick off our adventures. Yeah, and a REM pod. Those are really expensive.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some rich, cool guy in here who'll be like, all right.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, we've been almost at this for about 3 hours. All right, no. So we should probably wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you, Mom, for being here the whole time.
Thanks, Mom.
I feel like Brandon gave up. Maybe Brandon's still here. I don't know. He's probably in the same room as her. But yeah, if anybody, I don't think anyone's gonna actually listen to this after, but that's, if they do, if you do, if you're here, if you're sitting here and you listen to it and you're like, I'm listening to you, thank you for watching and supporting us, and give us a like and a follow and a hell yeah in the chat.
Absolutely. Follow us on TikTok. Go check out our Amazon wish list. And this is Twina and Leona with the Paranormal Pod. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next Friday.
10 p.m.
Also, if you haven't
Central.
done it already, join our Discord and share your paranormal encounters, and we'll share them on our podcast, discuss them, and tell you if they're bullshit. Just kidding.
Wow. Stay spooky, friends.
Stay spooky. Signing off.
Signing off.
See ya. Thank you for your support. Woo!
Thank you. Woo!
Kenny Veach.
Goddamn.
Screw you, Kenny Veach's girlfriend. I don't believe you. Just kidding.
He dead.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Paranormal Pod. Amazon wishlist. See you later.
Hell yeah in the chat.
Hell yeah. Can we get a hell yeah in the chat?
Yeah, Mom, can we get a hell yeah in the chat? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Woo! Signing off. Thank you for joining us.
We love you.
Goodbye.
Don't go to bed. Have nightmares.
Until next
Sage your
time.
house. And say your prayers.
I got something for you. I got something for you guys as we're signing off.
I'm ready. What is it? Longest goodbye ever. Yeah, I don't know what is supposed to be happening right now. I'm sorry.
Oh. Here you go. Thanks for joining. Until next time. Stay spooky. Stay spooky.
Are we still live?
Alright, yeah, goodbye. Good night.
Sign off.
See you again.